It's time to dive beneath the surface and into the minds and hearts of your favorite celebrities and pop culture icons. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi guys, good morning. Super Bravo Tuesday. All right, guys, well, welcome back. What a great day. It's Tuesday and it's also election day. I'm not really here to talk politics with you guys because that's not what this show is about. But I did want to say it is important to go out and vote. So if you haven't already, don't miss your chance. And let's just leave it at that. Guys, we have so many fun topics to cover today. We're going to talk about some Below Deck, some Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, some Real Housewives of Orange County. Oh my gosh, where do I even go? Southern Charm, Beverly Hills, and Real Housewives of New York. So there's a whole list. And then also, guys, we're going to be covering the Family Chantel later with my special friend, Fem Tarot. So if you guys ever missed any of your Lightning Tarot readings or you never had the chance, make sure you call in. It's going to be around 3 p.m. EST and 12 p.m. Pacific. So just call in, make sure you get your tarot reading and join us, you know? And with that being said, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you like this video. It helps us tremendously, helps us get eyes and get more callers. Woo! It's hot in this room today. All right, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link for later. And then, yeah, let's start. So, guys, last night, Below Deck premiered, and it was season 8. It was a rocky start. We see Eddie, the bosun, is back. And I honestly, guys, I always say this, but I never really was a huge fan of Eddie. I'm also not anti-Eddie. So if you guys like Eddie, trust me, I'm not anti-Eddie. But it was a good start. It was a little bit dramatic with Captain Lee saying we might have to end the season before it even starts with his broken ribs, because if you guys missed it, Captain Lee fell in the shower. But I feel like all of this was just kind of for ratings, not him falling in the shower, but the dramatization of it. Let's kind of go through and discuss our casts real quick. So we have Francesca, who is the new chief stew. Francesca is from Australia, and she seems like she has her stuff together, but in true Below Deck fashion, they never have an adequate staff working with them. The second stew and the third, we got to talk about it. Elizabeth is the second stew. I'm guessing they didn't really talk about roles, but Elizabeth has to be the second stew because Izzy does not know what she's doing. Izzy comes on and says that she's comfortable with interior and exterior, but she immediately gets sprayed in the face with the bidet. She's kind of gyrating her bed, or the guest bed, and she also doesn't know how to make a drink. She's so slow, and it takes her about 35 minutes to get Captain Lee his coffee and cereal. Izzy, girl, you got to go. I just think that, again, like Captain Lee said, it's not the place to train somebody right at the beginning of a charter season. So we'll see what happens. Moving on, though, as far as Below Deck goes, I think our chef this season is amazing. I hate that we lost Kate Chastain. And I know that sounds weird coming from me. Normally, I feel like I wasn't a huge fan of her until I just binge watched the last few seasons, because I'm always Team Hannah. Team Hannah calls pops. I love Hannah. Hannah just had her baby, so congratulations, Hannah. But no, Kate doesn't like Hannah, and I chose a side by default. But now I really like Kate, so I guess I shouldn't have chosen a side. Last night, guys, I watched Bravo's chat room, and I was curious because I watched the first episode of it and I never really got into it. Now we're on episode like 11 and it's doing well. They renewed it for a few more episodes, but I wanted to see what Kate thought about Below Deck. So Kate chimes in pretty much saying after seeing the charter guest and thinking that she was going to miss it. Nope, she wasn't. She wasn't going to miss it. And she also kind of went after Francesca on one of her 7-star statements. When Francesca said that, you know, this is a yacht and we're supposed to offer 7-star service, Kate kind of commented that, what is 7-star service? This isn't TripAdvisor, it's 5-star service. And after 5-star, you could call it 27-star, but it doesn't make it anything real. It's just, you're kind of making something up. Oh, I have a new caller in here. Maybe it's about Below Deck. Let's see. Naomi? Hi, Naomi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I was just calling because I listen to your show all the time, but I haven't actually watched the Below Deck season 1.
Oh no, Below Deck is going to be great, so you have to jump into it. But our next topic that we're going to go into is Real Housewives of New York. Is there any chance you're going to be watching that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I've watched every season of that.
Okay, so then you're the perfect person to have on the phone with me right now then.
Okay.
So Real Housewives of New York is filming right now, and there's some chatter that Ramona's incredibly insecure. We saw a photo of her sit down with Bergen Shaw because they were celebrating Bergen's new book, and Bergen was supposed to be technically our first housewife that was a Black woman, but she got that role taken away from her. Williams came in and took the apple, but they are still going to give Bergen the friend role. I'm curious. What do you think about that?
I can see Ramona being nervous because when Bethany left, she thought that she was going to be like the head of the show. And now that they're bringing in a newer cast, she knows that the dynamic of the show is changing. And eventually she's probably going to get either iced out or aged out.
Or phased out. I mean, at this
Yeah.
point, what she's saying, what the rumor is that Ramona is usually in control. Pretty much what you just said is like that she thought she was going to be HBIC now that Bethany's gone, and Dorinda. Even though Dorinda didn't start the franchise, she was still a very strong, dominant personality. And yeah, I could see where Ramona would have thought that, but no, times are changing, and I have a feeling that we're about to phase her out too.
Yeah, like I feel like it's like the Vicky Gunvalson complex and the Nene Leakes complex. Like the ones that really started the franchise, they think that they're going to be on it till they like die, but the viewers are changing. So it's not like it's the same group of people that were watching in like season 1. Like it's the younger people that are watching the newer seasons. They do have the diehard like fans that have watched from season 1 until like now, but like I just caught up on season 1. I'm 26. I just caught up from like season 1 on all of these shows just like last year, just because I had like nothing to do for a while. But like
No, I think that's great that you caught up on it. And I agree that, I think that the older seasons might have a little bit of an older demographic, and we might be kind of moving into a new generation of housewives.
Yeah, especially because they're worried about the ratings. Like the older cast members are more like distinguished, and they're not going to be as willing to like put their name on the line or their reputation, other than like Lisa Rinna, who doesn't care. But
Right. And that's a good point too, because then you have somebody like Leah McSweeney, who they literally paid her pennies for her first season, and she came in like a hurricane.
exactly, she was ready to take this opportunity and run because they know like now that platform comes with so much opportunity. Like off of this season, she made like 60,000, but with endorsements and everything else with her Instagram, she could be making like $1 million.
Well, I don't know if she's technically making $1 million yet, but I think if you give her 2-3 seasons, she's going to build a bigger name for herself. She has a cool brand. I'm sure other people are going to want to collaborate with her in the future. And hopefully this is just a big come up for Leah. I like Leah.
Yeah, I do like her too. I like that she was real. She went in there trying to be as authentic as possible, which is good because that worked for her.
Yeah, I agree.
And she doesn't really have like an agenda other than promoting her brand, I feel like.
Well, and she was one who was pretty diehard on the fact, like, we need to add more diversity to Real Housewives of New York. So I wasn't surprised when the first photo of Ebony K. Williams filming surfaced that it was with Leah. And then when the second photo filmed, it was with Leah again.
Yeah, and I think it's because with Tinsley, that's what basically they did with Tinsley and her. Like they kind of threw them together, and they didn't know each other before they started filming, or before they knew they were going to be filming with each other. But then they built that friendship, and I guess because she like was just in like that situation, they figured she would be the best to do that for her.
Okay, I agree with that. And then real quick, Naomi, before I go ahead and move on to other topics, do you remember Kelly Bensimon?
Kelly
Bensimon, she was on The Real Housewives of New York. Her and Bethany did not get along. She was a model. I forgot.
Oh, I remember her.
You remember? She was kind of like, she was a little out there.
Yes, I remember her.
Yeah. Okay. So she was a little out there and she was a little prude. She was kind of like, I'm not going to behave a certain way. And I'm a woman, I'm a lady. And, she had this kind of way of being. And then all of a sudden I look on the internet and Kelly Bensimon just started an OnlyFans account. Naomi, is that a contradiction?
I think, yeah. And it's like a sign of like how much the times have changed. But like also there's people that are making like OnlyFans to like show their cooking or like just to like basically like scam people. So maybe she's like doing something other than like showing her body. But yeah, like everyone's trying to make money nowadays. It's hard out here.
So you're saying with having the low cut shirt and like licking your chops and just being like that is just clickbait for potential cooking?
Yeah, for sure. I'm pretty sure that that's what the Emma or that girl that was on Disney Channel did, and she made like $1 million in like a week. Like she didn't put like anything on there. Basically, it was just her talking.
I hate people, but no, I actually don't. I love people, but I just wish I could. I wish I could not like get this algorithm that everybody else has.
No, yeah,
But
I was just like I looked up this guy's profile from Love Island that I was watching, and it was like an older season. So I was like, oh, I want to see what he's doing now, and he's like on like the top % of like OnlyFans.
my God. All right. Well, Naomi, I'm going to go ahead and move on to a few other subjects. If you want, stay on and I'll bring you up in a little bit. And also, I love that this is the first time you've called in. I'm going to be doing a show, maybe it's like 30 minutes or an hour after this. It's 3 p.m. PST, 12 or something like that. I'll get it down, but it's 3 p.m. EST. I'm sorry. I have a tarot card reader who's coming in. If you'd like to, then I'll make sure you get a reading.
Cool. Yeah, I'm so happy I called. I'm a little nervous, but yeah, I'm glad to be here.
No, don't be nervous. You were fantastic. So thank you. And I'll bring you back up.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right, guys. So we are going to keep it moving. We talked about the Real Housewives of New York. I want to go back real quick because we were watching, Below Deck, like I was talking about. And then right after I was talking about Bravo's chat room. Again, guys, I think with anything new, we immediately are like so quick to judge or be like, no, I'm not into that. I don't know if I'm going to be watching it, whatever. I feel like we did the same thing with Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So many people were so quick to jump the gun and be like, hey, listen, I'm not watching that. I don't care about the religion or this. I don't want to watch a bunch of like Mormons. And guys, that is not the way to think about this. You guys have to kind of flip your way of thinking because this is going to be so exciting. This is going to be new dynamics, new dimensions, and not to mention our first housewife that has married her step-grandfather and taken all of her family's money. There's going to be so much scandal in the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So I think where I'm trying to get with this is don't be closed-minded. But moving back to Bravo's chat room, I want to talk about the panel. Okay, so we have Hannah Berner, we have Giselle Bryant, Portia, and Kate. At first, I was like, this is not my ideal panel. But now after watching them, I'm warming up. I'm warming up to it. Anyways, moving on, when Portia starts going on about the Real Housewives of Atlanta and what's coming up, I was trying to read her body language and how she was going to talk about the trailer, because all of us know about the Strippergate, kind of like Puppygate for Beverly Hills, but Strippergate for Atlanta. And we know what the upcoming drama is supposed to be. The way that Portia talks about this, though, and says that we're coming in hot and it's going to be a great, season, whatever. And the fact that the stripper is saying that nothing happened, I have a feeling that we're getting a little bit duped by Bravo, especially with the lackluster 2020 and not being able to film because of COVID. I think that they might have planted a seed to make sure that the ratings were going to be high and that we were going to be invested. Also, guys, you have to remember that we just lost a huge part of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, which is NeNe Leakes. She's our OG. Now, a huge part to who I know. For me, I'm okay with the fact that NeNe Leakes is gone because last season, I don't feel like she really offered anything. I think once you get to a certain point, like Naomi was saying, you build like years and years of being a housewife, you get that Vicki Gunvalson syndrome where you feel just so entitled. You don't have to film the same as everybody else. You deserve more money than everybody. And you really don't have to bring the same amount to the table because you're a name. Well, NeNe Leakes, how did that work for you? Because she's gone now. I'm going to bring up somebody to chime in on this. Hi, Dee.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm as good as can be expected on this special day. We're waiting.
It's an intense day. Hermione, Jason had the perfect idea. We book a charter. Oh, thank you, Hermione, for the super sticker. And Dee's definitely going to be on that charter with us. And also, guys, 113 in the group, please hit like and help us get more eyes on this. But Dee, yes, this is a very intense day. That's why I'm trying to focus on doing these shows. And I voted, and it's going to be insane. But let's maybe
I'm glad you voted.
Yeah, of course. Everybody should vote.
Absolutely. Everybody definitely should vote. It's sad to know that only a third of Americans actually vote. So if there's someone that hasn't voted, there's still time. Go out and just use your Google search and find out where you can register to vote. You still have time to do it. I won't say anything more about the election, but go vote. It's really important.
I like that. Thank you, Dee. I like the answer.
Yeah. So about Bravo, I am so excited about Salt Lake. I'm so excited. And I'm partly excited about Salt Lake because of you, Adam. I really wasn't thinking I was going to be into this. It just seemed like it was going to be boring. But then I think you started talking about some of the cast members and some of the dynamics. And it's really interesting. And I can't wait to see, I think it's Mary
Cosby.
Is it Mary Cosby? I want to see that. Yes. I am so excited to hear about that.
Dee, I think it's actually really exciting and refreshing to not just, sure, we're going to have alcohol in the mix, but not every housewife is going to be dealing with an alcohol abuse problem or something like that. We get to kind of dive a little bit deeper beneath the surface, and we're covering conversations that we never have in housewife history. I am so excited for this.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. That cast seems more diverse. It's more diverse religiously. I know they have someone that was a Mormon that is converted to being a Muslim. That's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, and they just look really glamorous. They kind of remind me of like old school housewives when the franchise first started in Beverly Hills. So yeah, they look like they have a very good lifestyle. Like they're wealthy. And there's going to be some
very wealthy.
Yeah, and there's going to be some glamour and glitz in it. And yeah, I'm excited. When does it start? Is it tomorrow?
No, so they're going to do a preview. I believe it's on November 4th. Yes, they're going to do a drive-in only in Salt Lake City and Los Angeles. I have a feeling Bravo might sneak in on us and like 12 a.m. just kind of drop it on Bravo and see who picks up and actually catches it. Because they do those or they might pop it on the website for like 24 hours, like the full episode or something before, because they like to do things like that. But we'll see. I also, this is a highly anticipated franchise, and they might want to save all the ratings for November 11th.
Yeah, you're probably right. They may want to do that. I hope that I can't remember when they said they were going to air it. For some reason I thought it was going to be tomorrow, but November 11th makes more.
So tomorrow there's going to be select locations in Los Angeles and Salt Lake. That's the only way you can see it is if you get your ticket and you go. They're doing a drive-in theater, special drive-in theaters at different locations where you can go in and actually watch the first episode. But other than that, I'm pretty sure, unless somebody knows something that I don't, that we're going to be waiting. But that's okay. It's only a week away. Yeah,
that's fun. They're putting some effort into this. I don't remember them ever doing a drive-in. Well, obviously we didn't have COVID, but I don't remember them putting this much effort into other franchises before to have like this special event thing. So they must be anticipating that this is going to be good.
Oh yeah, they've been talking about it since BravoCon, so I have a feeling it's going to be a knockout. And I was just talking to my fiance about this too, Jason, because Jason's going to be covering Real Housewives of Salt Lake City with me because he comes from a Mormon background and he knows a lot of things that I don't. He knows about Utah and Salt Lake, and I'm kind of enamored by it all, really. But when I was talking to him about all of this coming up, I mean, I don't know. I just think that Bravo has just poured so much money into this. It has to be a winner. It has to be a knockout. Bravo cannot afford to lose money on this franchise. And then also I was talking to him and I was saying, how crazy would it be to be one of the original housewives of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City for the first season? You get all of this buildup and then you get fired for the second season and they bring in somebody else to replace you. That would be terrible.
That would be terrible, but that kind of seems to always happen, right? They kind of do that. If you look back at some of the other franchises, there's always that one that they kind of get rid of. So yeah, I think people are, the weak links. So I think people are going to be trying to give us as much as they can to stay on. So that's also going to be, it's just going to be fun. And also just the different location of Salt Lake. I've been to Salt Lake before, and I live in mountain town with the ski resort, and it's beautiful. So I think the location shots are going to be really, really fun to see. We haven't
Totally
seen that
different.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally different. And the lifestyle is going to be different. Having that Mormon perspective is, I'm wondering how that's going to play out. I do, because we are just more in a conservative, we're more in a progressive feel right now in the United States. Obviously, there's still
how much more would you? The woman is married to her step grandpa. I mean, this can't. I don't even know where else to go from there. So
I don't know. I mean, she's not Mormon, but yeah, that can be a whole different show, Adam. We can talk about mega churches like that another time, so I can give you a little bit of input on that. But that we're going to definitely see some interesting dynamics with that. I wonder how she's going to present herself, because I heard that she made her Instagram private because people are already going onto her Instagram page and kind of giving her some grief over her lifestyle and her travel expenses and the amount of money that she gets through the church.
You know, it's funny. I had Tasha K come on here. I believe it was last Super Bravo Tuesday or the Tuesday before that. Maybe it was last Super Bravo Tuesday. And we talked about Mary, and even Tasha said, you know, this woman is not ready for reality television. She's already blocked her social media account, her comments. She's not taking comments. And this is going to be a rough ride for her. But as soon as we had that conversation, I texted Tasha the next day, because all of a sudden all the comments were public again. Everything was like ready to be. And Bravo's probably
she's probably watching now. Mary, come on. Give us a tip. You know,
technically, I've already been in contact with Jen Shaw, Meredith Marks, Lisa Barlow, Heather Gay, and Whitney. I haven't talked to Mary. I've talked to all the other ones personally. So I feel like, who knows if Mary's watching? You never, ever know who's watching you. So just remember that.
I did. I saw that show with Tasha K. That was awesome. I've watched her for several years. I love when you do collaborations with other content creators. It's so fun.
Well, thank you. And well, since you love that I do collaborations, just for anybody who's watching, guys, again, 140 in the room. I'm going to start taking more callers too, up with Dee. But I did want to say I do have a fun collaboration coming tomorrow on Master Blackjack channel. I said that I was going to keep it a surprise, but I think it would be just fun to spill the beans on who it is. So I'm going to have Celeb Talk Guy join me tomorrow, and we're going to talk about the Family Chantel. We're going to talk about 90 Day, Darcy and Stacey season 2, and so much more. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh no, not Darcy. They have a season 2?
They got yes, Steve. No. Don't get me started. I can't even make that in this. I'm not getting that in the Super Bravo Tuesday. I can't even believe I'm giving attention to it tomorrow. But yes, they did.
How did that happen? Nobody watches that show. Well, apparently somebody watches it. If we got a season 2.
No, TLC said that they had the highest ratings ever in TLC history for a freshman show. So that's insane. But they also think that it's largely due to COVID. So we'll see.
That's probably true. That's probably true.
All right, Dee, I'm going to go ahead and drop you down for a second and stay around, and I'll bring you back up.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. All right, guys, I love when Dee calls in. Naomi was great. I have Dana and Jamal in the room. I also have a few other callers, so I'm going to make sure I hit everybody. I just want to make sure I also go down my list too and cover everything. So we talked about Salt Lake City. We talked about Bravo's chat room. Talked a little bit about Atlanta. And I think Jamal agrees with me that this whole Strippergate thing is a plant. I think that they're just trying to get some anticipation for the new season. I don't actually think Tanya is suing anybody. I don't think that she's not going to sue Bravo, first of all. And Portia wouldn't be so excited to talk about all of this if this did include her. So I'm calling it what it is. Moving on, we also talked about the Real Housewives of New York, but now I want to get on to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm going to keep this one really quick. So we don't know too much about the upcoming drama for the new season, but we do know that we have 2 new people. We have Crystal King Munkoff and we have Kathy Hilton. I wonder who Kathy Hilton's going to be friends with. No, I don't. So Kathy Hilton's obviously going to be sisters with Kyle Richards, but the real gossip here, I think, is the fact that she's not following Lisa Rinna or Erica. She follows everybody else in the cast, but not them. So could that be our potential drama? She even follows Crystal King Munkoff. I don't know. And Crystal doesn't follow Erica or Lisa Rinna either. So maybe we have some alliances forming. But then when I was trying to do some digging and diving into all of this to figure out, where's our alliances and where's the drama going to be, I looked at Erica and she follows Kathy Hilton. But then I was also thinking, of course she does, because her daughter's Paris Hilton, and why wouldn't Erica be on a come up? That's just my opinion. I'm going to bring up somebody to chime in on it. Hi, Jamal.
Hey, what's up?
All right. So Beverly Hills, really quick before I move on to OC and our other topics. Do you feel like we have alliances forming yet or no? Is it too soon to tell?
It's too soon to tell because I don't think the cast is set. I mean, I'm glad they're filming already.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Because what I would have done if I were casting, I would definitely sign Kathy, perfect. But I would have just signed Tori to get to Candy because Candy and Kathy don't like each other. So that was a big mess. And then Crystal, from what I recall, she was actually at Kathy Hilton's Christmas party last year. So she already kind of has an end with Kathy. So it's going to be interesting how it plays out. I think Rinna, Erica, and not Dorit. I think Dorit should just stay on the fence. I think those two are going to be the main.
I think Dorit should just get fired.
I mean, where's she living now? Is that going to be her storyline that she bought another house?
Well, you know that it did come out that they buy their houses under business accounts, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is all public information. I'm not giving anybody anything that they don't know, but they buy their houses under business accounts just to make sure that they're not going to, I mean, think about it. All of this is tax write-offs. They film in the house, everything. It's all tax write-offs. Anytime that you're doing anything like business or entertainment wise, whatever, her glam is a tax write-off. Her closet is a tax write-off. Her clothes are a tax write-off. Her house is now a tax write-off. It's genius.
Oh yeah. She has free SHIT down. She does not pay for anything. And I'm not mad at her for it. You know what? I mean, all the Giselle called Dorit, get on her line because she can help you get them fashions. Because she's not paying for nothing. I mean, Giselle is spending more on her fashions than Dorit does. And Dorit looks like a million times better. I mean, you can get up on that plan.
Oh my gosh. Well, Jamal, I want to ask you real quick, going back to Erica,
Mm-hmm.
I think actually the reason that we might have this, if we do have any sort of kind of disconnect between Kathy Hilton and Erica, I think it's just a different caliber of person, if that makes sense. And what I mean by that is Erica came into her money by marrying her husband, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was waitressing before, and she has this kind of, she's very proud. She has a little bit of an ego, and sometimes she can get a little bit nasty with people, and she's kind of like, I've made it. Whereas Kathy Hilton is that kind of old school money, and she's been around it all. She doesn't have to kind of put on a facade. Nobody's asking who Kathy Hilton is. We know who she is. So maybe Kathy has no time.
True, but I think it's more so Erica, when you look at her, you can tell she's new to the money. She just reads as new. Where Kathy comes in I'm Kathy Hilton. That's it. Or she can just actually say, I'm Kathy, and that's it.
She does. Yeah, she does. She doesn't even have to say anything. She just has to walk in and we're like, Paris's mom right there.
Take Erica's clothes. Erica's clothes, they're designer, they're nice and stuff, but they're a little loud, more costuming.
Right.
Where Kathy will walk in and all labels, but you can't see the labels, but you know what it is. She's that woman, she's like that Patricia, you just have it.
Right. And exactly. And Erica kind of has that more Dorit way about her where she's like, Chanel. And it's like, no, Kathy doesn't have to do that.
But the thing is with Dorit, we take it from Dorit because what Dorit does, and we know what Dorit's about, and Dorit knows what she's about. Dorit doesn't pretend. So look, I'm a label whore. You know it. So I'm gonna be it. And it's more, you can accept it because it's funny. Like, okay, as long as you know it and you're in on the joke is cool. Erica like takes it so serious. She has her glam squad. She has her stuff flown in like designer hefty bags, and she's like,
How much does this woman spend on flying glam? Again, it's all tax write-off. So
you mean how much? You mean how much does Tom's company spend on her? Oh, sorry. Oops.
No, yes, exactly. On the cast trips, flying a whole glam squad to Dubai, a whole glam squad to Italy. This is crazy, and it's not just 1-2 people. She flies a team.
Yes, and she hasn't really looked as good as she did season 1. I thought season 1 of Erica Girardi, that's who I like, was just on point. I'm like, I like Erica Girardi. I want to see more of her. Erica Jayne, I'm like, you can only pat the puss so many times. I mean, and you've been patting it since you've been on the show. I mean, it should be tired right now because Tom ain't doing too much with it, so I guess you gotta do something with it. Oh well.
Okay. So with Erica, though, I do think that she's developed a little bit more of a personality, a little bit more of an ego, and kind of, I don't want to say nasty, but she has kind of that like a snake-like hiss to her. She has that kind of like venomous, like, look at me the wrong way, don't F with me. That's the vibe that I get from her. And she didn't seem like that the first season.
No, it's because she tries to play both sides of the bitch coin. Like, she likes to be like, oh, I'm the prim and proper Erica Girardi. I would never do that. But then you get to Erica Jayne, it's like, okay, now I'm just gonna cuss you out. You're like, really? Pick one. Like Lisa Vanderpump, love her, but you knew she was gonna shade you in person and in confessionals, and you just dealt with it because she was consistent. Same thing with Lisa Rinna. Lisa Rinna's vile and rude and blah blah blah, but she owns it and she says it, so I can accept that too. But Erica plays both sides against the middle, and it doesn't work.
Well, real quick, before we move on from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I guess my last question would be, do you feel like the only reason that Kathy would not, well, actually 2 questions, Kathy would not be following Lisa Rinna or just trying to get too close is because she knows the level of messy that Lisa Rinna is able to reach?
Oh yeah, she's like, I'm not dealing with it, because for Kathy to be mean, Kathy wouldn't do it on TV and be like that. She would do some mess behind the scenes. So she's not going to even put herself in that position to be caught up with Lisa Rinna. She knows what Lisa Rinna is about. I think she thinks the simple fact that Kyle's is friends with Lisa Rinna is bad enough. And we also have to remember, Kim and Kathy are the closest of the sisters. So when Rinna did to Kim what she did, Kathy's not going to forgive that. I wouldn't. Well, no. Kyle, that's why Kyle is like the black sheep, because she always puts business or whatever in front of her family. And that's why they always have that butting of heads. And I agree with that.
Okay. And then I guess my last question about Beverly Hills is, since we know that Kathy is taking a friend role this season, do you feel like Paris will be making a few cameos, or no, just because since it's at that friend role level, she doesn't...
I mean, they've been on the show in the past, so I could see like them making an appearance or two. It wouldn't be a bad thing, because Paris is like matured and she's really like coming into her own now. She's speaking out, so I think it would be good to see her and have to see the dynamic. I would see the girls, Nikki and Paris, dynamic with all the sisters at one time, because we've not seen that yet.
You know, if Paris wasn't so up here, she technically would make a great housewife, and she's starting to be in that demographic of being. I mean, she's actually older than Teddy Mellencamp? I think she is.
I think she might be.
Yeah, Paris Hilton is older than Teddy Mellencamp. I'm pretty sure somebody can check that out for me. But yeah, I think that she might be. And like you said, she is progressing. She is kind of coming into her own. So she might be willing to put herself on the forefront for Kathy. And she did. She's always showed up to support Kyle. She showed up to Kyle by Aline 2, the store opening. And then also, wasn't it New York Fashion Week?
Shahida, yeah.
Yep, Kyle and Shahida.
But I do want to say something about Salt Lake City, if I can, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
People are focusing on like the whole Mormon aspect, but if you go read the bios, these people really aren't. All of them aren't of Mormon. They all have some issue with the Mormons and like Mormon faith in some way. Jen is converting. Mary's Pentecostal. Whitney, she backed away from the church when she had the affair with her boss and they got married. So it's not about the religion. It's going to be about how they fit within that society and with each other. because you can see when I look at all the six of them, I'm excited because you can see how they're friends with each other, but you can see how it can go left in like 3 seconds, and that's the exciting part.
I agree with you. Thank you, Gina, for the super sticker, and also thank you, Natalie, for the super sticker. Jamal, I want to piggyback off of what you just said really quick, because yes, everybody's looking at this franchise with a little bit of blinders, and we can't look at it like this as if it's just religion, because it's not. It's how, like you said, how you're blending in with society when you kind of didn't fit in the first place. And I think that's a little harsh, but like, you know, one is marrying a step grandfather, one is hooking up with her boss that's years and years older, one is converting to Islam. I mean, the other one doesn't know what it takes to be a good Mormon. I think actually Heather Gay was the only one who was able to answer all the questions, and Lisa Barlow was just like, listen, I think I'm the only Mormon in Salt Lake City that has a liquor company. So they're just all navigating.
You know, the thing with Heather, she married into Mormon royalty, then they got divorced, so she pulled away. So that's another dynamic. So people are so focused on Mormons, like, no, look around it, because these people they're not all devout Mormons. They are like what they would consider black sheep of Mormonism. Like, y'all, like, what's going on? Is it Lisa that owns the tequila company?
Yeah, Lisa Barlow.
So, I mean, what more can you see? That's what we need, like, have that kind of dynamic.
And Meredith Marks, we see where she's the jewelry designer to the stars. Actually, she's super sweet. Again, I've talked to her already. I hope we have an interview coming up soon, but she is going to be battling with her husband in this new season because one is intimidated by her work ethic. He thinks that she works way too much. And the second part is that she will never, ever let him look at her phone. And he feels like she's hiding something. And she feels like as an adult woman, even though I'm married to you, you don't own me and I don't have to share anything with you. And for him, he's like, that's not a marriage. So again, I think there's so many dynamics that we're overlooking here, and we just have to be open-minded.
I'm excited for it because this franchise seems to be the most exciting of the franchises because it's brand new and they're all coming as friends, as real friends. And you can just see in the trailer of like where the tension could be and who could get into it. And you kind of want to see certain people get into it. Like me personally, I want to see Jen and Heather go toe-to-toe. I think that would be a nice little battle because they're both seem very strong-willed. Well,
Jen and Mary are going to go toe-to-toe.
Oh, yeah. Well, Mary's going to go toe-to-toe with everybody because she is the lightning rod with her family dynamic, so she's an easy target. But I don't want to just focus. I don't want the whole season to focus on Mary because you can see the other personalities and how they could clash. Whitney's interesting to me because she seems to be the soft-spoken one, but she seems to be the one who could sting you and you not realize it.
But real quick, though, I don't want to focus the whole season on Mary either, but I think this whole conversation, the rift that we're going to get between Jen Shaw and Mary Cosby is going to be a race conflict.
Oh, yeah, it is. Most definitely.
So race, religion, technically, I don't call it incest, but people are calling it incest. There's so many different...
People want to use that because it's triggering. To me, it's not incest. It's like he married into the family. You're not blood. Fine, whatever. Back in the day, they used to do that. Used to marry their cousins. Okay, fine, whatever. But
it's like reading. It's like the news when we get the news about anything that's going out and like on in the world. We get this much. We get like a little periscope of it, and there's like the story is actually this big. So of course, this is just they landed a title that was going to get a lot of eyes on it, and people are immediately going to speculate. So
of course,
it was genius. It was genius.
Yes. Oh, Martin, perfect.
And then, okay, so also really quick, Gina B, first of all, thank you again for the super sticker. And second, is this true? Erica Girardi is divorcing Tom. Did you hear this, Jamal?
I just heard it from Project Skyfall in the chat. I hadn't heard it yet, but I'm not surprised because the way I would handle this is they would get divorced, but first you transfer all the assets to Erica. Make sure she owns all the assets. Then you divorce and stay together. Tom files bankruptcy, and they still get to keep all the money. Well, that's the way I would handle it.
And then you get indicted for fraud.
Technically, it's not fraud if you transfer all the assets. It's not fraud.
How is that not fraud if you know that you're going to be getting sued and then you transfer all the assets and try to manipulate the system? I'm pretty sure you would get hit with something.
Maybe something, but I don't think it's fraud because these lawsuits have been out there for a while. So if you transfer some of the assets, like you'll probably transfer the bigger assets, and Tom will keep some of the medium-sized ones, not to cost too much, like eyes, because he has to keep some assets for them to take. So, but you want all like the underground stuff. I'm sure they have cash hidden somewhere. I'm sure they have like some stocks hidden somewhere. You transfer that kind of stuff into Erica's name. Like
it's in the prayer room. I bet you it's under all the marble in the prayer room.
You don't transfer the house. The house needs to stay in Tom's name because you need to show that you're not doing too shady. But all the underground assets, oh yeah, you transfer all that to Erica. Tom keeps all the cars and the house, and then he'll lose that to the bankruptcy, which they'll be fine. But with all the cash and stocks, they'll be good to go.
Oh my gosh,
that's the way I would. That's just the way I would do it.
What a little shady world that we live in, Jamal. What a shady world.
Capitalism at its finest.
All right, Jamal. I'm gonna hit these last two topics, and then I'm gonna go ahead and bring everybody up at the same time. Stick around.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. 225 in the room. If you haven't already, make sure you hit like. Let's get more eyes on this, and then also I'll drop the link again. I have more people who have been waiting this whole time, so I'm gonna bring everybody up. I just want to cover our last two topics. Okay, so first, Real Housewives of Orange County. Gina slamming Bronwyn. Bronwyn is claiming herself as a woman who empowers women. She's a modern day wife who is not gonna subside to what the normal way of being is. She's gonna kind of paint what a modern marriage is and a modern family dynamic. This is how Bronwyn is coming into the Housewives. She's saying, you're not gonna define my marriage with John. I am who I am, and it is what it is. You're not gonna limit me. Now, we're all fine with that, and we're all fine with empowering Bronwyn in her journey, but Gina made a good point. How do you sit back and say that you empower women and you empower all of these different people, but then you slam Gina for having a small house? When, again, we saw this on the last episode, Gina is the only one who actually owns her house on the franchise. You know, I do have to agree with Gina in this instance, because I think that, first of all, if you can buy a condo in Orange County, that's amazing anyway. So kudos to Gina. And second of all, yeah, Bronwyn, how do you explain that? How do you explain ripping down a single mother who technically, sure, she has a boyfriend, but a single mother of 3 kids who just bought her house and seems like she's thriving at the moment? I don't know. I'm gonna, before I bring up everybody else for the callers, I do want to talk about Southern Charm too, because I just talked to John Pringle on Instagram. I'm hoping that we set that up too. Actually, Dana, I saw that you commented on one of the last photos too, by the way. Just pointing that out. I'm a weirdo. I see things. But Catherine got Pringled. Guys, if you didn't see the preview for the next episode coming up, episode 2, Catherine already got Pringled at the party, even though, you know, John Pringle looked like he was a little bit excited about Madison. We have to remember, guys, Austin and Madison are still together in this episode, right? We know that they're going to break up later in the season. And if you guys follow them on social media, you know that they don't follow each other. But what we do learn in this upcoming episode this week is that Catherine ended up kissing or making out with John a few times at the end of the night, and it's not going to be a match. John Pringle ended up talking about his ex-wife a few times in San Diego and just the whole transition. And Catherine's like, this is not going to work. I have my own mess at home. Thomas Ravenel. I don't even know if we can say his name on here. I feel like everybody says if you talk about him, he comes after you. So I don't want any part of that. Let's just start bringing up all of our callers again. I'll start with the ones that we haven't had yet. So hi, V. Hi,
hey.
Hey. All right. And let me see if I can bring up. Hi, Dorit.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. All right. I'm going to start with V was in the room first. So V, you can go off on whatever topic you like.
Okay. So I sorry that I didn't call in for Orange County last week because honestly, I can't follow.
No,
it's getting so boring. And then I also have a baby. So I have to schedule myself around her nap time.
Aw. Well, your baby's more important than a bunch of drunk women screaming at each other. So
but I still watch you guys. I just can't call in. But yeah, so Real Housewives New York. I wanted to talk about that. I think I seen you post something saying, "Oh, do you think that Ramona and Ebony K. Williams are going to be the new power duo. I don't think that's gonna happen.
No, Leah and Ebony K. Williams.
Definitely, Leah and Ebony K. Williams are definitely going to be the new power duo, and I believe that Ramona is kind of shaking in her boots a little bit because she knows that she might get aged out. Because the viewers are now looking for younger cast members and things like that, and Ramona's just kind of too stuck in her own head to even like try to venture out a little bit. And then what else did we talk about? We talked about,
well, I just have to say really quick, Real Housewives of New York. You know, I put this in my community tab, and everybody started ripping into me because they're like, you don't know what you're talking about. That's cute. I put in the community tab about what we could potentially be looking at for not next season of New York, but the season after. I'm calling it now so we can reference back to this video. We're going to lose one of our OGs. It's not going to be Sonia. It's not going to be Ramona. So
it's going to be Luann. Definitely. I already knew. Yeah. Because Luann, honestly, she hasn't brought anything to the show in years. Like the cabaret is super boring. Everybody's tired of it. They even said it that they're tired of this storyline every single season. So
and they're going to replace her with Dorinda. They're bringing back Dorinda.
They're going to bring back Dorinda. I already know that. And then I heard that Bethany might come back. I don't know if that. I doubt that's true, but
I wouldn't doubt it.
I heard that she.
I talked with a Bravo insider, and there's actually chatter that Bethany is willing to come back, not this upcoming season, but the season after, and she might potentially come back with Dorinda.
I think that she wants to come back because of the diversity and the younger crowd coming in. I think that's probably what makes her want to come back.
Yeah,
because she doesn't want to deal with
a bunch of drunk Upper East Side women.
She didn't want to deal with. You could tell she didn't want to deal with like the whole snottiness of Ramona, and she didn't want to have to deal with that. You can tell that was mostly what it was for her. And then so I honestly think she might come back. I don't know because she's like, I'm never coming back. She tweeted that all the time, but but I think it's possible, and I look forward to that because we love some fiery Bethany.
We love Bethany. Dana, do you have an opinion on this?
Well, not so much. Well, I can say I think that Bravo is ready to get rid of some egos, to deflate some egos that are just so big. People with COVID and everything, I think viewers are more focused and picky about what they're watching.
Right. I mean, and Bravo has to start cutting costs too. Let's not forget this. These housewives who are OGs, they cost a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, I'm just sick of the egos. People don't want to watch that anymore.
No, I agree with you.
I mean, look at Erica is just really cruel to people online. I mean, I'm seeing it everywhere, how she treats people, like the person that had the meme.
Oh, I have a update on that whole Erica thing.
I think that she said get more creative or something, and then I'll post your content, right?
Yeah, yeah, and then I'll give you credit for something.
Yeah. Dorit, do you have an opinion on this?
As far as New York and Bethany, I saw her on Watch What Happens live, and she said that she would come back to the show if he came up with the money. She wants big bucks. So maybe he's willing to give her what she's asking for and she'll come back.
Listen, cut an OG and then bring on Leah still underpaid. So this is the thing that a lot of people don't understand. A lot of these OGs that were in from the beginning, they had a different pay structure. So now that Bravo's trying to save money and trying to be a little bit more smart with their finances, anybody who's coming in at this point, the whole structure of pay is it's changed. Like even Leah, we saw she made what, 60 grand for her first season? That's pennies. It's right. Pennies. So I know that some people are going to say, well, Teresa only made 15,000 on her first season. Right. That's when the Housewives were nothing. So
that's when they first started. That's true.
Yeah, it's a totally different time. So what Bravo's trying to do now is change the pay dynamic. So maybe they can accommodate certain people that they want to bring on. I don't think that they should waste $4 million on somebody like Denise Richards, but Bethany Frankel is a great investment because she'll come on and shake things up, and she doesn't even have to try. She just walks in the room.
Bring the views.
Oh,
yes.
She'll definitely bring in the ratings. They'll make money.
Yep.
Go ahead,
I do have to say something because I typically don't want to say mean or cruel things about anybody, but I cannot stand Rena. I have grown a bitter disdain about her. I hope Hilton comes in after her like a homeless dog that just found a fresh steak bone. I really do. I hope she rips her to shreds and she's gone.
I see. I
So-
don't know how much we can
That's funny.
expect from Kathy Hilton, because she still comes from that background of act like a lady, like, you know, like even how Paris explained how her parents were growing up. She is very kind of that prim, proper woman. I'm curious to see if we get a little bit of a shark out of her.
But she
She
doesn't have,
acts like a lady and stings like a bee.
she doesn't
I
have
think so too.
she doesn't have to go down to Rena's level. I think Rena is going to be completely intimidated by her. Kyle will be intimidated by her. I don't think Dorit will say a word. All she has to do is walk into a room and the air is there. She's like, if you went to a multi-billion-dollar company and you walked into the boss's office and you cowered and knew not to say much to cross them.
Okay, so I just I was, you know, skimming on
Erica?
Instagram, and Erica posted like a picture of the Goodfellas,
Right.
and she put, and then there were 4, and
Yeah.
so she tagged Dorit, Rena, her, and Kyle Richards. So I think they're going after This is my thought. I think they're going after Garcelle this season because Minkoff is super new. Okay, well, we know you.
No. I'm not shaking my head like I disagree with you. I'm just saying that will be
It's going to be a very big mistake, but you know that's what's happening because when she posted that, she tagged them, and you know there's only 2 other cast members that are actually housewives, which is Garcelle and Minkoff. And Minkoff, unfortunately, is new. Well, fortunately, is new, and they're not going to come for her first season. And Rena already gave Garcelle that warning that her second season isn't always, you know, isn't the best. It's always going to be the one where they come after her. And unfortunately, like it's going to be a very big mistake. They come after Garcelle, and then I see that Kathy Hilton is always in her like comments, in Garcelle's comments, saying "love you, miss you, can't wait to see you," and things like that. So I think they become really close. I think they become really like cool because she doesn't do that with anybody else. I don't see.
I do want to say, Pearl said, "Hi guys, I keep putting this out there. I'd want to see Chelsea Handler on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills."
Yes,
me too, bro. That would actually be really good. And thank you.
That would be funny.
But no, I think that with Kathy Hilton, Kathy has the ability to come in like one of our former OGs, who on Beverly Hills, she was a big puppet master. And
we all know who you're talking about.
Right. We all know who I'm talking about. And she was able to get away with this and do this for so many years. And she did it the best. It was like iconic the way that she was able to maneuver the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Mm-hmm. And it was because of the power of who she is and who she is in that community of Beverly Hills. Now, Kathy Hilton is a name. She knows every single person in Beverly Hills. She has so much pull, especially because of who her daughter is. And she might come to the table with some information on Lisa Rinna and her marriage with Harry Hamlin that other people might not have wanted to touch.
It's all going to come out in the wash.
Hurricane Hilton. Yes.
Hurricane Hilton.
You just can't keep a secret like this forever. You know, in Hollywood, they all have their deep, dark secrets that no one talks about. It's taboo, but eventually it comes out. And I'm waiting for this one. It's going to be interesting. But, you know, what Jamal said about Erica taking all the money in the divorce, that Tom Girardi is going to hide all his assets with her. There is a time limitation, and I think it's 5 years before he would be able to get his hands on that money. You can't just do that and then after the divorce have it transferred back to you. They'll come after you. There are laws against that. You know, we're not stupid.
Right. And that's the thing too, is when you try to evade paying certain things or having your assets liquidated, and you try to get smart and maneuver things. Yes, there are ways to maneuver things. People do get away with it. But when you're under the scrutiny of the public eye, it's that much harder. So we're not saying it's impossible, but it's that much harder. So if you're trying to maneuver, you better stop being mean to people on Instagram and focus on how to get your funds, sister.
Well, you know, just like what happened to Teresa and Joe. You know, they were underhanded, and because they were in the public eye, and she was throwing around hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash. Remember when she went and bought furniture and just,
Mhm.
the money was just flying out her handbag.
That is the
And
only
what
reason
happened? They came
show got
after
reported.
them.
Yeah.
They did
So-
come after that. That was very.
So-
that was not smart.
That's not smart. So, they have their eyes on them, and they're going to watch everything that goes on. As they say, follow the money, and they're going to be following the money. And, oh, by the way, Paris and Teddy are the same age. They're both 39.
Okay, so Paris is the proper age. Hermione said, can we finally get the real story about Harry Hamlin? Not unless somebody brings it to the forefront, because Lisa Rinna's not going to do it. Erica's not going to do it. Kyle's not messy enough to do it because Mauricio has been rumored to kind of have his own things going on. So Kyle's not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole because Lisa knows things about her. So really, technically, the only person who can touch Lisa Rinna is somebody who doesn't have anything to hide. And that
Adam, you can do it.
No,
do it, Adam. Do it, Adam.
After people.
Adam.
Lisa Rinna.
That's why Denise had said, do you want me to read your text to Rinna?
And I don't know why everybody's afraid of her. Honestly, Lisa Rinna needs
She has everything. She has something on everyone.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. She has a big mouth, but she also, Lisa Rinna, I mean, I don't know. I think it might actually secure her coming on for longer, and that's all she loves fame. So maybe she should come to the forefront about it and focus more on her storyline with her husband, or she should focus on her daughter running around with Scott Disick too. There's a lot.
Don't give her any ideas. I want her gone.
Okay. Well, Dana, Dorit, V, I have a few other people in the room that I just want to bring up too, just to say goodbye. And before we go, just since we're wrapping this up and we have Femtaro coming on in a little bit, is there anything that you're looking forward to? What show, Bravo show, are you looking forward to next week? And I'm going to start with you, Dorit.
Oh, geez. Actually, I'm looking to see. Actually, I'm looking to see what happens in the OC if they, try to bump it up a little bit, because last week I told you it was a snooze fest. I didn't even see the end of it. I fell asleep.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, but
it was pretty bad. But that's what I'm looking forward to see what they're going to be doing. Because after next week, if it's not going to be good, I'm going to stop watching it.
You're cutting it?
I'm cutting it.
You're cutting the orange and trading it for an apple.
Yeah, making room for the other shows. I mean, I can't be glued to the TV day and night.
No, I understand that, Dorit. I feel you on that one. Okay, Dana, what are you looking forward to most?
Can I call back? I want a reading. Can I have a reading?
Yes, Dorit, please call in. I will make sure that you get one. 100%.
Thank you.
Yes.
Love you.
Love you. Bye, Dorit.
Bye.
All right, Dana, what are you looking forward to most?
Below Deck, Salt Lake City, and Southern Charm. Those are my main ones.
Okay, I can't wait to see who gets Pringled.
What a way to put it.
He needs to coin that. I'm going to message him. He's going to be like, dude, I don't know you. Stop talking to me. Sorry, I think it would be fun to call it that.
Lord have mercy.
All right, Dana. Well, I'll see you in a little bit. And if you're around, call in for Femtaro.
Bye.
Right. All right, V, what are we looking forward to most?
Most, I'm looking forward to all of your recaps and being able to call in and talk about it. But
wow, I'll keep you around, V. I like you.
So I'm looking forward to Potomac mostly because, like I said, I have a little girl and she's 5 months and she's around the same age as Dean was during all of this. And like, I feel like Ashley's putting my feelings into her, like whatever she's saying, I'm like, that's how I feel, but I just don't know how to articulate it.
Oh, you can
because this is my first, it's my first daughter. It's my first baby. So, so I really like the fact that she's being so real about it. And then I'm looking forward to Salt Lake City. I cannot wait till the day after that, and we're able to like recap on that. I'm so excited for that.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be so. That is my pre-record recap is gonna be so good with Jason, and then I have a special guest for my live recap. So it's gonna.
I'm looking forward to meeting Jason too.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, because you bring it up all the time, and I'm looking forward to see his perspective on everything. And then Real Housewives of Atlanta, I'm looking forward to. I just hope it's not a year long like the last season. The last season took like 6 or 7 months to finish. It
It's going to be
It
5.
was from it was from November up until the end of May. Remember, they didn't finish until May.
They're not going to finish until May this season.
Geez Louise.
Yeah, it's going to be, yeah, because you have to think about it. They go over 20 episodes, then they have like the reunion. It's going to be, I'm pretty sure, unless I'm missing something, and somebody will go on and totally call me out on it. I know that they cut OC for a reason from 22 episodes down to 12, but Atlanta is the #1 grossing franchise for Bravo. They're not going to cut Atlanta.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing the dynamic without Nene, and just seeing the storylines and how it all plays out, because Strippergate was because I believe you were right, them planting the story, because remember that whole thing that happened with the Potomac, it made the ratings fly through the roof, even though they didn't plant that story, it just got leaked. So they're going to probably try to do the same thing with Atlanta, since it's the highest grossing one, and people are not looking forward to watching it because Nene isn't on it. Right. So they probably did this intentionally, so when it does premiere, they get the ratings that they want.
All right.
They need their money. They need the money.
I agree with you, V. All right. Well, we just hit an hour. I appreciate you calling in, and I think it's so sweet that you have a little baby girl. And also, please call in later I'm going live in an hour with Femtero. Actually, it's in 30 minutes. So we'll see you then.
Yeah, sure. I'll try to call in. If she's still asleep for her nap, I'm calling in.
Okay. Thanks, V.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. And then real quick, before we go, 264 in the room, make sure you hit like. I'm not going to, I told everybody I was going to make sure that they got to say bye. So Naomi, Dee, and Jamal, real quick before we go, I'm going to start with you, Naomi. What show are you looking forward to from Bravo most next week?
Oh, like all of them. I literally right now I'm living for all the Bravo shows.
I love that.
I had a Real Housewives on every day. But I just wanted to say 3 things really quick, because I was listening to your roast of it. So my first thing is for Salt Lake City. I think it's like a huge sign of the times and how much everything has changed, because they used to go to like these prestigious cities and try to find like high class, people to be on the show. Now it's like they went to like a city that's known for being religious, and they found like the most messed up people out of the city for like a spectacle.
I love that.
And so for Beverly Hills, I was thinking like all they have to do is throw one younger cast member in there, like they did Leah with New York, and all of the OGs be shaking in their boots for sure.
Well, Crystal King Montauk, we don't know what she's made of yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was going to say for Bronwyn, I'm definitely on her side, because Gina took the first shot when she was talking about Sean, like texting her, like maybe she could have took it a little creepy, but for her to go to like Tamra and put it on the show and make it like a thing, a storyline, like that's a little far. And also I agree with Bronwyn, because Gina literally like moved in with this guy. She just started dating. They both have 3 kids. They threw them in this house. She just got into like beat up in front of her kids by her boyfriend. Like I think she definitely is moving a little fast, and I think it's fair game, because Gina was the one taking shots at her husband first, so she took shots back.
Okay. All right, Naomi, I appreciate your perspective, and I hope to see you in 30 minutes.
Thank you.
All right, Dee. We have to. We have to be a little bit quick, just because we're coming right back home. But Dee, I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay, Potomac, looking forward to, and Salt Lake.
Okay. Wow, I didn't mean to just like steal the whole time from you, Dee. Okay, Jamal.
For me, it's Salt Lake City, hands down.
Okay. Salt Lake City, Potomac. Dee, Jamal, I'm with you guys both. Dee, thank you again for calling in, and I hope to see you in 30 minutes. Jamal, always a pleasure. And guys, if you haven't, make sure you guys go check out Jamal and Shan on reality TV Chit Chat Live with Debbie. It's a great show. They always put on a great show. So make sure you check it out. And if you guys haven't already, like this video, I'm going on in less than 30 minutes to cover the family Chantel. And then 30 minutes in, we're going to be joined by Femtero, who's going to do lightning tarot readings for us. So it's going to be a good time. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.